Good day, ma'am. My name is Maria Angelico, and I'm here to report about quarrying and the Philippine mining law. What is the difference between mine and quarry? The term quarrying is often associated with a place where natural stone is extracted to produce building stone or dimension stone, and the name is thought to be derived from the Latin quadria, which describes such a place. For the mining was similarly associated with places where minerals were extracted to produce metals or coal. Quarrying is the process of removing rock, sand, gravel, or other minerals from the ground in order to use them to produce materials for construction or other uses. Kinds of minerals rock taken from quarries are sand, gravel, and crushed rock that employ standard surface mining techniques. Crushed rocks is used for concrete, aggregate for road building, and in the case of limestone, as flux in blast furnaces and for chemical applications. The methods of quarrying the stone are digging or excavating. It is a method where stone buried in earth or under loose overburden are excavated with pickaxes, crowbars, chisels, and hammers. Second is wedging. This method is mainly used for the rock of sedimentary type, which are comparatively soft, such as sandstone, limestone, marble, slate, and laterite. The third one is heating. It is most suitable for quarrying small, thin, and regular blocks of stones from rocks such as granite and gneiss. A heap of fuel is piled and freed on the surface of rock in small area. The two consecutive layers are the rocks separate because of an uneven expansion of the two layers. The loosened rock portions are broken into pieces of desired size and are removed with the help of pickaxes and crowbars. The fourth is the quarrying with channeling machine. The process consists of the following steps. First is the channels are cut around the stone block, which is to be removed from the rock mass. Second is the horizontal holes are drilled beneath the block. Third is the wedges are driven into holes and the block is then broken loose from its bed. The last is this process of separation of stone from the rock mass is almost invariably employed in case of limestones, marbles, and other soft sandstones. It is possible to separate very large blocks of stones from the rocks by the application of this method. Next is the blasting. In this method, the explosives are used to convert rocks into small pieces of stones. This method is used when stone to be excavated is of very hard variety and it has no cracks or fissures. Moreover, if stone is to be excavated in very large scale, blasting method will have to be adapted. No definite size blocks can be excavated by this method. After blasting, the excavated stone is sorted out in different sizes and categories. Explosives such as blasting powder, blasting cotton, dynamite, and cordite are used. Next is the boring. Holes are drilled or bored in the rock to be dislodged. For bad rocks, machines drilling is used instead of hand drilling. Next is the tamping. After placing the charge in the hole, a gray priming needle projecting a little outside the hole is placed in the hole, which is then filled up with damp clay or stone dust in layers stamped sufficiently with a brass stamping rod. The pruning needle should be kept on rotating while tamping is going on. This is done so that the needle remains loose in the hole. Next is the firing. The holes are dried completely and the required amount of charge is placed in the holes. Last is the charging. Blasting powder and cordite are ignited by means of a fuse, whereas gun cotton and dynamite are exploded by detonation. Um, List of large quarries located in our country. The coal, copper, gold, and nickel. For the coal, it is located in the Malangad, Zamboanga, Sibugay, Simarara Island, Kaluya, Antique. For the copper, it is located in Buyungan Mine of Surigao del Norte, Canatuan Mine located in the province of Zamboanga del Norte, Tampakan Mine in South Cotabato, and for the gold, it is found in the Canatuan Mine of Zamboanga del Norte, and for the nickel, it is located in Rio Tuba Mine in the west of Philippines in Bataraza, Palawan, Birong Nickel Corporation, and San Roque Metals Incorporated. How quarrying activities affect the environment and the human settlements? Quarrying can be very destructive to the environment. They have a direct impact on the countryside by leaving pits and heaps of waste material. The extraction processes can also contaminate air and water with sulfur dioxide and other pollutants, putting wildlife and local populations at risk. Why there are still illegal quarrying activities done in remote areas which cause so much damage in our mountains and hillsides? So, there are still illegal quarrying activities done in remote areas because quarries in remote areas lead to lower amenity impacts compared with sites near urban or suburban areas. However, remote quarries must rely on longer haulage operations to deliver aggregates to their final locations, which generates other impacts in the form of noise, vibration, dust, and air pollution. And for the second topic is the Philippine mining law. Mining is the extraction of valuable minerals or other geological materials from the earth, usually from an ore body, lode, vein, seam, reef, or placer deposit. Mining in a wider sense includes extraction of any non-renewable resource such as petroleum, natural gas, or even water. Summary of the following selected chapters of the Philippine mining law and give comments regarding its implementation. First section is the section 4. Government ownership of minerals resources. Mineral resources are owned by the state and the exploration, development, utilization, and processing thereof shall be under its full control and supervision. The state may directly undertake such activities or it may enter into mineral agreements with the contractors. This section tells that mineral resources are owned by the state and the exploration, development, utilization, this section tell us that the combined efforts of government and the private sector in order to enhance national growth in a way that effectively safeguards the environment and protect the rights of affected communities. The second section is the section 16, opening ancestral lands for mining. No ancestral land shall be open for mining operations without the prior consent of the indigenous cultural community concerned. The said royalty shall form part of a trust fund for the socio-economic well-being of the indigenous cultural community. Ancestral lands refers to all lands exclusively and actually possessed, occupied, or utilized by indigenous cultural communities by themselves or through their ancestors in accordance with their customs and traditions since time immemorial and as may be defined and delineated by law. The third section is the section 43 quarry permit. A quarry permit shall have a term of 5 years, renewable for like periods but not to exceed a total term of 25 years. No quarry permit shall be issued or granted on any area covered by a mineral agreement or financial or technical assistance agreement. This section tells that it is just right for the contractors to hire. This section means that the document granted to a qualified person for the extraction and utilization of quarry resources on public or private lands. Next is the section 62, employment of Filipinos in mining. A contractor shall give preference to Filipino citizens in all types of mining employment within the country insofar as such citizens are qualified to perform the corresponding work with reasonable efficiency and without hazard to the safety of the operations. This section is it is just right for the contractors to hire Filipinos who have no work with high experience in mining because they could not just help the people but also they could ensure the safety of their workers because that worker have a high experience in mining. Next section is the section 63, mine safety and environmental protection. All contractors and permittees shall strictly comply with all the mine safety rules and regulations as may be promulgated by the Secretary concerning the safe and sanitary upkeep of the mining operations and achieve waste-free and efficient mine development. It is just right for all contractors and permittees to strictly comply to the mine safety regulation to ensure the safety of their employees. Next section is the section number 72, timber rights. Any provision of law to the contrary notwithstanding, a contractor may be granted a right to cut trees or timber within his mining area as may be necessary for his mining operations subject to forestry laws, rules, and regulations, provided that if the land covered by the mining area is already covered by existing timber concessions, the volume of timber needed and the manner of cutting and removal thereof shall be determined by the mine's regional director upon consultation with the contractor. The timber concessionaire, permittee, and the Forest Management Bureau of the department provided further that in case of disagreement. Decision is timber rights allow an individual to own all or part of trees on a property without actually owning the ground where they grow. And this can lead to some interesting title insurance question. Title insurance only cover rights in real property, meaning land and in any improvements attached to it. Next section is the Section 85 Mine Waste and Tailing Fees. A semi-annual fee to be known as mine waste and tailings fee is hereby imposed on all operating mining companies in accordance with the implementing rules and regulation. The mine waste and tailings fee shall accrue to a reserve fund to be used exclusively for payment for damages to firstly lives and personal safety, lands, agricultural crops and forest products, marine life and aquatic resources, cultural resources, and lastly is the infrastructure and the revegetation and rehabilitation of silted farmlands and other areas devoted to agriculture and fishing caused by mining, by pollution. They should really collect the tailing fees because if workers would be involved in an accident while working inside the mine, the worker would be given an insurance and could insure to get medical help. And that would be all, and thank you for listening my report about quarrying and the Philippine mining law. Thank you.